You don't lose motivation because you're weak. You lose motivation because your brain is designed to protect you, not push you. And once you understand this, you'll finally understand yourself. Most people think motivation comes first, and then action follows. But neuroscience says it's the opposite. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Your brain is constantly asking one question: is this task safe? Not physically safe, but emotionally safe. Will I fail? Will I look stupid? Will this expose me? Will this make me feel something I don't want to feel? When the brain senses emotional risk, it kills motivation instantly. Not because you're lazy, but because your mind believes it's protecting you from discomfort. This is the first reason motivation dies. 1. Your brain is avoiding emotional pain, not physical effort. You feel unmotivated not because the task is hard, but because the outcome feels uncertain. Your mind hates uncertainty more than anything. So it shuts down your drive. It convinces you to scroll, delay, or start later, because later feels safer than now. But that's only part of it. There's another layer of psychology most people never notice. 2. Your brain rewards what is familiar, not what is good for you. If your usual routine is scrolling, procrastinating, avoiding responsibilities, your brain labels those behaviors as safe. Familiar equals safe. Safe equals easy. Easy equals repeat. That is how habits trap you. You're not choosing comfort, your brain is choosing efficiency. So when you try to change, your mind doesn't think you're improving your life. It thinks you're threatening the system it built to survive your past. Your lack of motivation is actually your brain protecting an old identity. But here's the part most people never understand. 3. Motivation dies because your brain hasn't seen proof that effort is worth it. The brain is a prediction machine. It doesn't care about your dreams, it cares about energy. Every action you want to take comes with a silent calculation. Is this worth the effort? If you failed before, your brain predicts failure again. If you've been rejected before, your brain predicts rejection again. If you've broken promises to yourself, your brain assumes you'll break them again. So why give you motivation? Why pump you full of energy for something it believes won't work? That's why people feel stuck. That's why people feel trapped. Not because they lack discipline, but because the brain doesn't see a future reward strong enough to activate drive. And here's the secret. 4. Motivation is created when your brain experiences a small win, not a big dream. This is why people who start tiny win big. Because the brain doesn't respond to goals, it responds to evidence. Every small action, every little step, every "I said I'd do it and I actually did" rewires the brain. The moment you take action, your brain releases dopamine, not because you succeeded, but because you began. That dopamine becomes motivation. Motivation becomes momentum. Momentum becomes identity. Identity becomes lifestyle. This is why you feel motivated some days and empty on others. Not because motivation disappears, but because you didn't give your brain the spark it needed to create more. So here's the truth most people never realize. *** motivation is not something you feel. Motivation is something you generate. ***. You generate it by acting before you feel ready. You generate it by proving to your mind that you're capable. You generate it by breaking the old identity your brain is trying to protect. And once your brain sees the pattern, once it believes the effort leads to reward, that's when motivation becomes consistent. Not perfect, not constant, but real. So the next time you feel unmotivated, remember, that's not proof that you can't change. It's proof that your brain is waiting for you to make the first move. If you want motivation, you don't wait for it, you create it. And your brain will follow.